Hey guys, Miss Jen. I've got to tell you, Halloween is probably one of my favorite holidays. It's right up there with my birthday. Now, I like celebrating with all sorts of silly and spooky things like spiders, don't worry, they're all fake, and leaves, but I also love celebrating with pumpkins and anything pumpkin. So today we're going to be making a pumpkin art activity that also makes noise. How cool is that? So the first thing you're going to need is some paper to paint. So I am choosing to use some paper plates. I have some smaller paper plates I think would make a good size, and you're going to need 2 of them, but you could also use some paper bowls, so I have 2 of those I could use, or big paper plates if you want to get crazy and make a big giant pumpkin. What we're going to do is we're going to make a pumpkin shape, but we're going to make it into a tambourine. Now, do you know what a tambourine is? A tambourine is a noise-making music instrument. So we're going to put something in here to shake and rattle around, and then it's going to make noise. But it's also going to look like a pumpkin. So to do this, you can either color the backs of your plates with crayons or watercolors or markers or paint. Now I really like paint. So I got myself some paint, but if I'm going to be painting, this is probably not going to work for me. So I have a paint shirt. I wear this paint shirt to paint everything. Everything from pictures to my walls. So I'm going to put this paint shirt on so that I'm ready. And then I'm going to get my brush and my paint. Now pumpkins are usually an orange color, but did you know there are things called ghost pumpkins? They're technically squash, but they are pumpkins that are a white color. That's crazy, right? Pumpkins are squash. They come in all sorts of different colors. So you can get green ones and yellow ones and really weirdly shaped ones and white ones and cream colored ones. Now, you're gonna paint just the bottoms and maybe the rims. Like I'm painting the bottom and the rim of mine. So you're going to paint your plate, and then you're gonna need to let it dry. That's the only drawback of painting, is you're gonna need to let this dry. So maybe you come up with a new dance while it's drying. Maybe you do another art activity while it's drying. Maybe you clean up your bedroom while you're waiting for it to dry. I mean, who knows what kind of treats and tricks you can find there in your bedroom when you're cleaning it. But you're also going to want to wash up your brush when you're all done. Make sure that it doesn't get all cakey and gross. Put away all your art supplies while you're waiting that you're not going to use. Now the other thing we're going to need for this is something for a stem. So I was looking around my house for something to use as a stem, and I found a used toilet paper tube. Now maybe you don't have any of these hanging around the house. That's okay. You can also use a paper bag. This is a great idea. And what you're going to do with it is, because your pumpkin is kind of flattish, you're going to make this kind of flattish, and you're going to eventually attach it like that. You also want to make sure that it's going to be completely sealed, so you're going to go ahead and staple right on through it. Now, the other thing you're going to need to do is look for something to put inside of your tambourine. So what do we put? We could put some of our little spiders. It would make like a little sh noise, because when they're shaking around, they're not very noisy. But maybe I want something that really rattles. So maybe I get some buttons or some beans. Put some rice. Anything that's gonna make some noise in there. So popcorn kernels is great. Legos. Now, obviously, you're gonna want to be able to get those Legos back out, so you're not gonna want to attach these so that you can't. But maybe then you use something like tape that you can peel the tape back, open it up, take your Legos out, and you still have a tambourine that you can fill with other things. So while these are drying, I'm going to come up with something to put inside my tambourine. Now, while I was waiting for my pumpkin to dry, I went ahead and I used some black paper and I cut out a little shape for him for to make his face a little jack-o'-lantern. Now, you don't have to do this part if you don't want to, but it's a great opportunity to talk about different shapes. So we've got triangles for eyes and a half circle for mouth, and then he's got little squares cut out for his teeth and little circles cut out for his eyes. But you don't have to do this. You can if you'd like. Now, I'm going to leave one side of my pumpkin undecorated and one side with the jack-o'-lantern face. Then I also cut my paper towel tube in half. And I sealed the bottom of it because that's the part I'm going to put right here, and I don't want any of the inside, whatever I'm going to put on the inside, to come out. Alright? And then I went through my cabinets and looked, and I found some beans that I could use. I also went through my art cabinets and found some buttons I can use. So I think I'm going to go with the buttons because I'd like to make some soup later this week. So I'm going to put the buttons on the inside, and I can already tell they're going to make a great noise. Also, my beans, they're a quieter noise, so you might want to consider them if you don't want such a noisy tambourine. So what you're going to do is you're going to attach your stem, and I also found some cool green fabric because, you know, pumpkins grow on a vine, so now I have a vine to go along with my pumpkin. So you are going to attach your pumpkin however you would like. Whether you want to use staples or you want to use tape. If you choose to use glue, be prepared for a wait. But that's okay because, again, that gives you the opportunity to do all sorts of other things. If you're going to use staples, you want to try to make sure that you staple all the way around so that you don't have any spots for your insides to leak. Now, I decided that I'm going to go ahead and tape it, and I have some black tape here, which I thought went really well with my jack-o'-lantern theme. So I'm going to tape around most of it, but then I got to leave us, actually, let me put my beans inside of it first. I'm going to put my buttons in. And you don't need a million, you only need enough to make a noise. You don't want to jam pack it because then they won't have space to rattle around in there. So, I'm going to go ahead and attach this. And like I said, you can attach it however you want. You can use tape, or you can use staples, or you can use glue. I'm going to use a couple of pieces of tape that I all sealed up so they can't escape. I'm going to go ahead and put my little vine on. You can use a pipe cleaner if you want. You don't have to put a vine. You can leave the vine option out. I just thought it would be kind of fun to have it. There we go. And now you have a maraca, and you can shake, 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 and make a whole lot of noise. Now, remember, anytime you're using a musical instrument, you also want to make sure that everybody around you is okay with it. So if you're shaking this and the dog is hiding under the table and your parents are putting their hands over the ears, then maybe now and that place isn't a great time or place to do it. But maybe you can take it outside in the yard, come up with a fun Halloween song, take it up to your room, make sure it doesn't make a mess, and have fun. What's your pumpkin gonna look like?